Being born in the year 2000, I was in this weird in between where I wasn't exactly a 90s kid that didn't grow up on modern social media, but I wasn't either a Gen Z kid who had a smartphone and making TikToks by elementary school. I call it the sweet spot. For the first half of my life, I knew how to enjoy life offline, but I also considered myself tech savvy and social media was pretty ingrained in my daily routine. But still, my relationship with social media has always been complicated. On the positive side, I loved how social media allowed me to express my creativity in photography, allow myself to learn new things, and feel connected with the greater community. But on the other hand, I really despise how it made me feel. In my sophomore year of college, I was at my lowest, mainly fueled by social media, when I would constantly compare myself with my peers and what they were doing online, and constant FOMO. From seeing internship acceptance posts on LinkedIn to pictures of peers hanging out with me on Instagram, it came to a point where I let those shortcomings define me. I'm not successful to I'm lonely. The addictive nature of social media did not really help, as it just simply ingrained those thoughts as I would spend hours and hours on it. It wasn't until I read the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport that my views on social media shifted. The idea of digital minimalism focuses on the philosophy of technology use, in which you focus your online time on a small number of carefully selected and optimized activities that strongly support things that you value, and then happily miss out on everything else. Since then, I've been establishing boundaries with social media to encourage a healthier relationship with it. From deleting the app on my smartphone to deleting social media like Twitter or TikTok that didn't serve me much value. But I've never flat out lived a life without social media. Not until now. I decided to cut out social media for 7 days. With this challenge, the ultimate question I wanted to answer was, could I live a life without social media? I mean, I was able to do it when I was a kid, so why not now? Along with this, I was curious to see how this lifestyle change will affect my mental health, my productivity and time management, and my ability to connect with others. For the first 2 days of the challenge, I found it to be really difficult. I immediately noticed how antsy I became. Anytime I would be in a moment of stillness, whether it was waiting in the elevator to being in an online lecture, I had a weird sudden urge to check social media. I actually found myself impulsively typing the URL to Facebook or Instagram anytime I was just like antsy, before catching myself, of course. Okay, so I'm at day 2 of my no social media week. Initial thoughts, I think it's because I'm really busy with the midterms and I guess socializing with friends, that I don't feel like there's a void in my life by not using social media. But it's a little harder than I thought in some ways. Like when I just want some entertainment that's like really short, I usually would go to YouTube to get that entertainment, but now instead I'm kind of just like either watching Netflix or reading a book, which is not that bad, but just like little things I notice within my behaviors. However, I didn't realize how much time I actually had in the day until now. When I would study, I found myself less distracted as the urges to see if there was a notification for me lessened. I was able to complete tasks on my daily to-do list, which allowed me to have the capacity to engage in hobbies that I once didn't think I had time for. Activities such as reading, stretching, bouldering, that all contributed to my well-being. Honestly, I felt more present. Since I couldn't rely on social media to feel connected, I had to depend on my friends and family to fulfill this need. I became more proactive to reach out to friends and say yes to social events. In these social settings, I found myself more engaged and present in the conversation, rather than impatiently waiting for a free period to check my phone. Feelings of FOMO diminished during this week as I just focused on what was going on in my life instead of the lives of others. Once it hit midnight, I distinctly remember excitedly checking my social medias, downloading the apps again, and scrolling down all the content I had missed. And after 5 minutes, I realized that I never really missed anything in the first place. After this challenge, I realized that social media is simply a good to have, but not necessarily a must have. Although it has allowed us to connect us with our friends, family, and communities in the digital world, too much of it can simply do the opposite. isolate ourselves from developing new and existing relationships in the physical world. What I learned from this challenge is to set boundaries, be present, and express gratitude for what you had in front of you physically. Because let's face it, social media will always be there for you, but not the people, places, and events that's happening in front of you right now.